Steady go. Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome. Tonight, Tuesday nights, we always feature special guests, and tonight we got a homegrown special guest with us tonight, Mordy Kurtz, half of the band Rogers Park, to speak with us about Jewish music. If anyone has a specific question, you got to unmute yourself, please do, and then ask your question. Then please do mute yourself, because sometimes we get some background noise and it's hard for everyone to hear. So let's get started. First of all, Mordy, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. We really enjoy these special guests and visitors and so forth. And we see you brought some of your fan club. How appropriate. So let's get started at the beginning. How did you get involved in Jewish music?
Okay, so I think because I'm Jewish, it's really how I got involved in music. We'll get into that later. But how I started really, I don't remember the age exactly, but I always liked music. And then my mother had 2 guitars just sitting around the house growing up. And I think one day I just picked one up and I said I wanted to start learning it. I think I was in about 6th grade when I took my first music lesson, like guitar. But yeah, my mom used to have a little band in Ida Crown. She was part of a band and we had some musical instruments around the house. Music was always like a big thing growing up. And I think I just picked it up one day and wanted to learn more. It lasted about like 6 months maybe, and then I put it down for a few more years. But
Sure.
The main thing was actually when I went to yeshiva in Muncie, the dean, Rabbi Palter, said that it's very good for yeshiva bachrim to have something to do besides just learning, something to, whether it's sports or jogging or music. He said, just find something in your spare time that you're going to enjoy, find a hobby. And then I think I just decided to bring my guitar with me and learn it on my, in between classes. That's when I really started learning and started learning music.
Okay, so now you're part of the Rogers Park band, named, of course, after your hometown. What is the theme, the style of Rogers Park music?
So the style is, I would say, it's hard to put it, but we're more of like we're definitely wanted to say we're folksy, country, feel-good music.
Okay.
We don't like to take ourselves too seriously. We kind of labeled ourselves in folk music just from seeing outside influences such as Simon and Garfunkel, Pete Seeger, Willie Nelson. These are people that I think like half of them are Jewish. But the idea of folk music is that it's people music, right? What does folk means? People, like the happy folk, the young folk. It just means people. So it's music for the people, by the people. The idea is we're not trying to put, some artists and some genres put a big stage and fancy lights between the performer and his audience or their audience. So we wanted to get rid of that. We wanted our music to always be like an open channel of communication. And it's like our shows reflect that, we're not just like getting up there and doing a bunch of music. We're interacting with the audience, laughing, crying, all the above. I'd say we're folk music in that style. When it comes out to practical sound, we're just like just a 70s rock band.
So you refer to we, it's you and your partner, Yosef Pazin. Maybe tell us about that. How did the two of you come up with the concept for Rogers Park? Give us maybe a little background about the evolution that led to the Rogers Park band.
Sure. So we were both in different schools, different yeshivas, just playing music. And then we somehow landed up in the same yeshiva. We started playing a little bit music together. We actually both spent the summer one summer we were swim instructors at the JCC in Chicago, the Bernard Horowitz JCC. And we did a lot of music that summer, just like learning a lot of music, learning to sing together and play together. It really developed when we were in our later years in yeshiva, and where we actually were both sent to the U of I campus to work with Rabbi Tachtel at University of Illinois. We had many nights where we were just, we were, young guys, yeshiva bachrim, and we had just a lot of time. Go Illini. We had a lot of time to be together and just play music. So everything started developing there. The rabbi, realized what talent we had and what was going on, and he gave us a platform to play for some of the students, to play some of our music. I think I started writing original music a few years before, and started playing our original songs. We ended up playing by him. Then we went around to, I think we did Munster, Indiana, We did Rabbi Langzam. We did a
He's
few.
been on our show.
Yeah, we did a few
Peoria.
Southern Illinois, Midwest Shluchim and Chabad, and really just that was a real platform for us to actually get serious. That's how that started. The idea just happened to come. I think it was the summer when we were like both home. We would always we would go away to different yeshivas, but we made it a point to try to be home for the same Yom Tovim, the same holidays or the same breaks, because yeshiva was always out of town. So we ended up playing a lot of music together, and then we had this sound. We didn't really know what to do with it. We decided to just call ourselves Rogers Park. I think we were just driving through the East Rogers Park neighborhood, and there was a really beautiful mural under, I think it's the L. It's one of the trains that just go through the downtown from Evanston to the city. And in Rogers Park, under each bridge, there's like these different murals, and one just said Rogers Park, and we're like, let's get a picture with that. That's going to be our name. It was that simple. And then we actually made like a Facebook page, and we took a bunch of photos and a website, and we didn't even have any music yet. And we made it, I realized the power of like the internet and social media. We had like 500 followers. This is maybe 10, 15 years ago when Facebook was, a lot more prominent. And we got a lot of followers in a very short time just by having like a name and a cool look. And then someone one day posted on our wall, and they're like, do you guys have any music? So we ended up started recording. So there's a few elements that really, pushed us over the edge. It's really been Hashem just keeps pushing us forward. Now we're still doing it. We have a winter tour coming up. We're going about 6 or 7 different Chabad houses. Starting this Sunday, we'll be in Wisconsin in Mequon. But it's just like, we're like both working full time and have families and kids. And it's just like Hashem keeps pushing this our way. So that's kind of how it started. And the name was just the name, but we like to think of it as, we have a video kind of discussing it, where we didn't want to just, especially when we started on campus, we didn't want to be just like another Jewish band called like, Yankel and the Klezmers or something like that, where you would kind of automatically put us in a category. We wanted to sound something that was a little more contemporary, a little more modern, and something that not necessarily had a Jewish name. For that reason specifically, we thought we would be able to interact with, a broader audience. And that idea was to show kind of how the neighborhood Rogers Park, over time, it just develops into, it's the most prominent Jewish neighborhood in Chicago, probably in the whole Midwest. So it's like over time, saying that Rogers Park is a mundane place, but it's really something that you can make into a spiritual experience. That was a little bit more meaning behind the name.
So you start coming up with some of your own music. You've made how many, they don't call them albums anymore, CDs, or how many recordings do you have?
So yeah, we have 2 albums. We still call them albums, but I think they're on Spotify now. Yeah, nobody takes the physical copies anymore, really.
And what do you prefer personally? Do you like the performing, or do you like the writing? Do you like the recording?
I personally love just the writing and the playing in my pajamas in the basement on the couch. I happen to love that. And if I have a good band doing that with me, I'm even happier. Over recently in the last, I think, year, performances have, I've opened up a lot. Yosef was more of the performer, I would say. I do all the writing, and I like to take like a backstage, no pun intended, a backstage approach, kind of take care of the logistics and, the technicalities, and write the music and, put that together. But I never really loved the performing. I really started enjoying it about a year ago. So it's hard to say,
We're talking about a year ago, we started this program with COVID, like everybody. We're going along, doing our thing. And then March 2020, the world shuts down. What happened with Rogers Park? I mean, I imagine you must have had tour dates that were canceled. How is that started up again? How did COVID turn your life upside down?
So just to be brief, to answer the first question first, when it comes to, me enjoying performance more, because of COVID, I actually learned to enjoy my presence on stage more, simply because I'll elaborate more, but we did a few shows during COVID, which were outdoor and people in their own cars. So I didn't have that pressure of like the audience right in front of me per se. And it was like, you couldn't really see anyone. So I just really enjoyed the music, and it was like, oh, just playing with the band, but yeah, so I think it really hit us. I think COVID was March. really this summer, that the previous year, before COVID, we had like a show every week in the summer. Chabad says people are doing outdoor barbecues, events, Jewish festivals. We were very booked. And I think that summer we didn't have, I think we had maybe one show the whole summer. Again, it was probably like outdoor. So there was
2020.
we had that definitely hit us hard for that summer. I think we actually did have one or two cancellations, or people that said they were like penciled us in, and then, with everything that happened. But then over time, people figure out how to, just revert back to like the drive-in method we've done. And that actually kept us, busier. We did a lot of outdoor concerts, which most concerts, are outdoors. People were in their cars. They would hook up, the FM transmitter to the car, or have big screens. So that kept us a little, we still had shows. It was a little steady. A little less than usual, but now I would say, it's almost back to normal, almost. But yeah, so it affected us a little bit. We still had shows, and most of them were just outdoors, in cars, which it's really hard on the audience, and probably for my partner Yosef, because you don't get to interact so much directly, with the audience. But there was ups and downs.
Concerts, and you really get the audience to participate. It's a learning experience. They can learn the songs. I mean, it's not a secret. It's not strange.
Depending on what it is. I mean,
not musical.
We always like to teach.
Get caught up in it, sure.
Yeah, we try to teach one or two, Chabad Meganim over a course of a show, depending on the vibe. But yeah,
let's get a feel. What would you say makes music Jewish? It's not just that it's singing the songs, that the lyrics come from Psalms. What do you think puts neshama into a song, in addition to it being entertaining and fun and clap along? What would you describe that makes a song Jewish as opposed to just a fun song?
It's an interesting question. I actually work with a non-Jewish coworker, and we're in an office of a bunch of actually, Chabad guys, and we're always like just humming or singing. And she's like, I noticed you guys sing a lot, and you guys all have good voices. And I looked around the room. Half the crew was from like families of Chazanim. But she's like, it's probably because you guys go to synagogue a lot. And I was like, that's true. Like, just Jewish music, our homes are filled with singing, right? Shabbos, think about a Friday night. Like, my 3-year-old knows all the words to Shalom Aleichem. There's that big element to that. Then there's the synagogue, and it's the shul. So there's almost something that you grow up with, like just the idea of just singing in your home is like a normal thing. You're not just singing in the shower, but you're singing with your family. And you're doing it as a prayer, or in a joyous way, or a meaningful way. It's hard to say what makes something Jewish. I had this conversation a few months ago with somebody, because, when it comes to Jewish culture, Jewish music, it depends on the region almost. It's like we say we have Jewish cultural food would be gefilte fish, but if you ask that to an Israeli, he'll laugh at you. So the culture is hard, but what I would say makes something Jewish is definitely mainly by the person that is the composer and the performer of the song. Those two elements, that they, what they're putting into the song would be Jewish ideas and Jewish content, and that they're putting themselves and they're, Jewish, or in that theme. Because, it says like music is the pen of the soul. When you have to, even if you're writing a folk song, which could be a story of something, you're putting yourself into it, you're performing it, you're singing it. And I think what would categorize something as Jewish would really be who is behind the song, not so much as the song itself.
Okay, so do you have a favorite song? Do you have one that really like you like to think about the most, or something is particularly special to you?
You're saying in Jewish music, there's really a lot. There's so many.
How about of your own performances?
Yeah, my own. Like, I have plenty of songs. Like, we as folk musicians, we're really developing our style.
How about one with everybody right now?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Then tell us about this song. What song are we watching?
Okay, so this is Ku'ula. It's actually an old Yiddish folk song that's been adapted by the Chabad movement as almost a mantra. The idea of Mashiach is here, Mashiach is coming, Mashiach is now.
And that's you, of course, and your partner, Yosef.
Yeah, this was filmed in New York City, I believe in June. I don't recall the year, but probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I was in Champaign that year. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago. We actually filmed alongside, I think, the Israel Day Parade. Unintentionally, but it happened together. Yeah, the idea behind this was just to reincarnate something, an idea, and also a tune that people might not find so entertaining now if they looked it up. They might only
Did you
find
know this guy, the
recording.
bugle player? Did you know him, or is he just
Yeah,
spontaneously?
he's hired.
Oh,
Sorry.
and there's Yosef. And there you are.
I don't know most of the other people, but we got a lot of these people were just random people that the crew put together. He in the yellow jacket was actually a Holocaust survivor that did not want to be in the video. But he said, you know what the heck, because it was hard for him. He didn't believe in what we were singing about, even though he was from, because of everything he's seen, you know.
There he is. There he is again.
Yeah, we spoke to him.
And these are just random people you met, or these were people who were part of the
No, these were all a lot of random people. Again, some of them are from the parade that joined us when they saw a camera. This idea of Mashiach spreading good to all kinds of people, Jews and non-Jews alike. You know?
Oh, here we go. Nice. Okay, let's cut that out. All right, hold on, sorry. Are we still there?
Yeah.
All right. Morty, thank you so much. You want to jump in with a question? Or else we'll say goodnight to Morty. I want to thank him for his time. I want to thank him for his music, for bringing so much simcha and joy to everybody. Really appreciate it. Tomorrow night, 8:30, we're learning Mimer. Everybody is, of course, invited.
I know it's not recording. That's fine. Oh, there you go. You were asking me what about my favorite performances. I think one of the best moments, or one of my highlight moments of shows was at the JLI conference in Rhode Island, I believe 3 years ago.
I was there.
Yeah, you called us up on stage, and I remember I was like, I think he called me up for my bar mitzvah and for my wedding, and now for one of my bigger shows. So it was like, it was a good.
Well, I'm honored to be in any way part of it. Morty, keep up the great work. Tell Yosef we said hello. Really,
you have a website? Did you give a website before so we can look you up?
You can visit it's rogersparkband.com. We have a lot of our music up there, or on YouTube, and anywhere on social media. We're actually going to be posting our tour dates probably this week for the next season, in the next coming weeks. So you can look us up online, just Rogers Park Band.
rogersparkband.com. Beautiful. All right, Morty, thank you so much. Really enjoyed it. And everyone's going to now crash YouTube and crash your website and go and see and get the music. And you got to get your dancing shoes on, because when you hear Rogers Park, you're going to want to clap along and sing along. I've been to the concerts, and they involve the audience, and it's a teaching time. And they teach you the melodies and the history and the story behind them. And it's really a full-on experience. So, Morty, Ashikoach to you. Thank you so much.
I'm feeling nachas from you,
Well, come on. Remember,
I'm enjoying you.
Kid. Yeah, no.
Fantastic.
His music.
Let's see us talking. All right, awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Zagazon,
Bye, guys.
everybody.
Thank you.
Tomorrow night, 8:30 for Mimer. And Thursday night, we'll talk some Parsha. Good night, everybody. I'll set up the recording of tonight's show. Good night.